Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another video tonight. There's quite a few things that I want to review, showcase, highlight, and I got a special treat for you guys at the end of the video. It's probably, in my personal opinion, definitely one of the more exciting investments that I'm really happy to share with you guys tonight. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So today's the theme of this video is going to be more so of cards that I've specifically selected for you guys that are holding relatively good value or have increased over a certain amount of time, and that I feel very comfortable at the prices that they're sitting at, and it's good for good sell value. So wanted to kind of change it up today, and the very end I'm going to show you guys some stuff to pick up that I think is a good investment that can increase in value later on, has great potential. But the first part of the video is going to be solely for cards. If you have them, you're going to want to sell them because I think they're sitting at good points to make good profit. So blue eye stuff, there's several different blue eye stuff that people have been talking about that have been increasing in value over time. One of them being Sage with Eyes of Blue. We have the original ultra rares dawning from Shining Victories, which are holding a pretty good price point right now for the first editions, all across the board, but more specifically for the first editions. I know I invested very heavily in this set when Shining Victories came out. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was a transition set. I believe that it was either Breakers of Shadows, or Shining Victories, where Konami changed up the ratios and they started putting super rare hollow foils in every pack, and they changed the ratios and all that. So, comment below if you guys know about that. I can't remember if it was this set or Breakers of Shadows. They started doing the whole super rare in every pack thing. Anyway, Unlimited start off at about 11 plus, and then first editions are almost 13 bones. And there's only 3 pages left of the original prints. There's 2 secret rare prints, one from Battles of Legends of Light Revenge, which was the first secret reprint, and the second reprint came out of, I don't remember, it was a Legendary Collection Kaiba was the other one. So really quickly, they're roughly like around the same price points. I guess the Legendary Collection Kaiba ones are maybe a little bit less, but the same great secret rare foiling, secret rare foiling and everything. Great card all around. So these are Light's Revenge prints. This is an amazing set. I invested very heavily in this set, and this set is just continuously pumped out some pretty great value over the years. And it's about 12 bones, 13 bones, and only 2 pages left of this. Not really a whole bunch of 5 stacks. There's a 6 and a 5 over here, but other than that, pretty great value. So if you guys have this, I think this is a pretty great point to sell, especially if you guys have bulks. Next is going to be Zodiac. So Zodiacs, Barrage came to 1. What else came to 1? Did Dryden come to 1? I can't remember, but I know Barrage came to 1, which was like a huge thing. They're not ready yet. I just kind of wanted to... Chakanine is definitely ready. This card is a solo print ultra rare dawning from Maximum Crisis, and it's holding really good value. I think it's like 12 or so right now, 8 or 12. Probably more than likely because it's a solo print, but this is definitely a good choice to sell. I have a couple copies of these. When I get home in a couple days, I'm definitely going to sell. First editions start off at 10 bones, and they kind of just slowly trickle up after that. Only 3 pages left of that. So this is a definite sell. I would definitely make some money and sell that. As far as everything else, I've invested very heavily in Zodiac. So I went kind of crazy with Raging Tempest. Zodiac format was nuts. I personally hated it myself. I'm not a fan of Zodiac, the deck, at all by any means, but I definitely see the value in it. There is a huge player base, and it just had one of the most infamous runs in a long time, in my personal opinion. In 2016, this deck was just running ravage. It was just ripping up chaos everywhere throughout the game. And Barrages, I mostly just invested in first edition secret rare stuff. So the original Dryden's and the original Barrages are personally the ones, and Broadbowl. So Broadbowl, Dryden, the original secret rares from Raging Tempest, and Barrage first editions. Those are the ones that I personally invested in very heavily. They haven't gotten to points where it's worth even selling. I'm personally holding on to mine, waiting for them to go up, because if this deck gets unlocked more on the ban list, I definitely think it has potential for the price points to increase. And if you have the original first edition secret rares, you're definitely going to hold great value that you can push off later on. Next is going to be Mech Knights, more specifically Purple and Purple Nightfall and the Blue Sky. So really quickly, let's look at Purple Nightfall, the original secret rare prints. Of course, there was the 2018 Megaton secret rare version, but this is the original Extreme Force print. This is holding good value too. I'm not really sure if this card has always been it's always relatively been a pretty good price point, and it's fluctuated pretty frequently, but Unlimiteds are going for 15 right off the bat, and then first editions go for 17 plus, which I think is great. 5+ pages of this. Again, this is for the original prints, and the Megaton 2018s are right next to it as well. I think these ones are around 14 or so. So I would check that out. My internet's running a little bit slow, so I'm not going to dip into the 2018 Megatons, but you can kind of see the price points from the previews. They're about the same. So both versions, secret rare, and are both around that $14, $15 price point. So I think that is fantastic value. I'm not a big fan of Mech Knights. I think that they're a pretty good deck, and there's a lot of different combos that they can do and all that, but I've never personally built the deck. I don't really know exactly what it does. I haven't educated myself on it, but I know it was pretty popular for quite a while, and it got this new support and attorney code and all that. Really quickly, let's take a look at the original prints of Blue Sky. Again, it looks like the 2018 Megatons are really close in price point to the original print for Blue Sky as well. And this is about $8. It is about $8 across the board, 7 plus, and then it goes about 9-ish. 9 is probably more average price point of this, and then 4 pages left of this. So I think these are good sells. If you guys have purple or blue, I would definitely sell them. Next is going to be Blackwing Bora the Spear. So the highest rarity, of course, is the Ultra Rare from Legendary Collections 5Ds. That's an amazing set. I've actually, a couple videos back, I broke that down pretty well. And definitely check out this set. All the Legendary Collection sets are phenomenal. They got some great things and some pretty nice rarities. This is the Ultra Rare, and it is sitting at about pretty much $9 across the board for the first edition print, and that trickles up after that. 4 pages left of this. More specifically, what I wanted to talk about, which I personally invested in very, very heavily, and I have several copies of, and I knew this card was going to take off because I think it's the best rarity that we have. Now, the Ultra Rares are technically a higher rarity, but Dual Terminal, in my opinion, is always going to front the bill when it comes to rarity, especially if it's a holo foil. This is a common. It's not a foil, but drawing out of Dual Terminal 3, we have another print of Bora, and this is my personal favorite. I have a plethora of these, and these are going for about 7. So they're about 2 bones less than the Ultras, and there's only 2 pages left of this. Not really a whole lot of stacks. There's a 11 stack and a 16 stack, which is going to hold strong for quite a while, depending on how long it lasts. But again, if you have Ultra or DT Blackwing Bora the Spear, if you're a Blackwing player, obviously keep a place up for yourself if you have multiple copies. But I think that this is fantastic value. This is actually a decreased value. This card actually used to be like $20, $14. It went up really, really high. But then people started flooding the market, kind of recuperating the market, regenerating it, and it went down to 7. But I still think it's a fantastic price point to sell at. Next is going to be another Dual Terminal 1, Blue Eyes White Dragon. So this is a super rare out of Dual Terminal 1, and it is already up to $49. This is incredible. I knew that this card was going to go up. It's been a little bit since I reviewed this. It's seen exponential growth in value. I remember I was picking these up left and right. I actually have several copies of these, and I think the average price point was about 5 to 7. I remember I picked up a pretty bulky stack back when I was in Korea on eBay a couple years back for about 7.6 a piece. So it's seen just fantastic growth. I'm really, really excited about this. I'm definitely going to be listing some of my own eventually. Only 2 pages left of this, and it's just incredible that this has gone up so much. Galaxy Soldier is going to be next for all you Cyber Dragon players trying to bust out your Infinity plays. There is 3 different versions. Of course, we have the really nice Prismatic Secret Rares from World Superstars, another really great set. I would take a peek at that if you guys have time. And we have 2 ultra rare versions: the Battles of Legends Light Revenge and the Dual Power. Dual Power, of course. Everyone, I think it's kind of safe to say that Dual Power was kind of the ultra rare set that started out. Well, technically, it was more so probably Dual Saga, but again, we didn't unfortunately get that rarity reproduced here in the TCG. But this is holding great value, and this was relatively easy to pull. It wasn't the easiest card to pull, but I know I invested very heavily in Dual Power, and we're finally, a couple years later, finally seeing some return on our investments. This has gone all the way up to 6, and again, this is the lowest rarity of this card, and it starts out at 6. There is another ultra rare version from Battles of Legend, which another set again that was the first Battles of Legend. There was a lot of great reprints in that. People, I think, went and invested in that very heavily as well. I was definitely amongst them. And this card was extremely easy to pull out. I know I have several copies of this. The majority of my boxes are still sealed because I just decided to keep the majority of that set sealed. But I did crack some of it, and definitely have plenty of these to go around. I'm going to start listing these. This is about 6, 7 plus for this, and there's only 2 pages of this. So, and then of course there's the Prismatics. I personally don't have the Prismatics, but they look beautiful. The Prismatic Secret Rare, they look really, really great, and those are going for a pretty good amount too. So, if you guys have any version of Galaxy Soldier, I would definitely sell it now before it gets reprinted, because it does only have 3 reprints. Could definitely potentially go for another reprint. I don't know what rarity that would be, but this is good. This is good value to sell, I personally think. Next is going to be another Cyber Dragon card, Cyber Dragon Nasher. This is still, to this day, a solo print ultra rare dawning from Dual Power, another Dual Power card. This card it's fluctuated a lot. When Dual Power first dropped, it was about 20 to 15. It started out like 20, and then it dropped to like 15, and then I think it went down to like 7 or 8. Now it's back all the way up to 15, mostly because again it's a solo print. This is the only set that you can get it, and Dual Power is not old by any means, but it's not. It's been a couple minutes. It's been about, I don't know, almost 2 years or so. So. I think that you guys need to sell this now. I know I personally, when I go home, I'm gonna list these like crazy, because I think it's definitely well due for a reprint. I don't know if they're going to reprint it in a higher rarity or a lower rarity, but this is at a high price. It's a good card, and of course there's a giant Cyber Dragon fan base out there that need this card, but it's a solo print, and that's what's really key. So you definitely want to sell this card now while it's holding good price point, while it is a solo print and not readily available. Next is going to be Kriston, however you pronounce this. I'm just going to call it Drax. I invested very heavily in Raging Tempest, so I have tons of these. This card was super cheap for the longest time, and it still is. It's about $4. First editions are about roughly 4 if you factor in shipping, and not really too much. A lot of the stacks. There's a 5, 7 stack here, 5+ pages, so plenty on the market. So it'd be kind of a little bit more difficult to sell. But this is just kind of a random card that I stumbled upon that I thought is, before it was like $1, like half bone. So now it's almost sitting at just under 4. I think it's a definite seller. Next is going to be Deep Sea Diva. So this got removed, lifted off the list, ban list. It went from 1 to, I think it's at 3 now, fully unlocked if I'm not mistaken. We have all of the versions are holding pretty good value. The commons are like $1 to $2, so like $1, $2, $3. We got the rare original Raging Tempest ones, and the Dual Saga. Turbo Pack 4, of course, is kind of untameable now. It's like, almost 100 or so. Really not a big fan. It's cool because, it's Turbo Pack Booster 4 and all that. It's rare. It's hard to get. But, I mean, it's so expensive when you could get the Duelist Saga one, which I invested very heavily in this as well. Not even that long ago. I'd probably say like a year, maybe a year and a half ago. These were so cheap when this card was still locked up on the ban list. And I was picking these up for from anywhere from like a half of $1 to $2, like all day long. And again, Dual Saga on its own merit alone has a special, unique, ultra rare foiling, which looks really, really great. My personal favorite print of this is the Dual Saga, and it's about almost $6. It's like 5+. all across the board. Here's a 31 stack here from S Gaming, so that's going to hold the line for quite a while. And then there's 4 pages left. So abundance on the market, so again, this might be a little bit more difficult to sell. But if you got it early like I did, again, like you're definitely going to plus if you can actually push off these purchases, these sales, because for the longest time it was like $2 and under. Next is going to be Salvage from Legendary Collection 3. It's one of my all-time favorite reprint set / Legendary Collection set. It is my favorite Legendary Collection set. It's just great. This is going to be salvaged, so this is just a really great recycle card for water builds. And this is the highest rarity as a super rare. All the other versions are common, if I'm not mistaken. Unlimiteds alone start off at almost just under 7, and then first editions are 8. And then there's only 3 pages left of this, and there's not any fat stacks. All one-ofs here on the first page. So this is another, I think, fantastic sell. This is a great card. Legendary Collections 3 is very old now, but this again, this was another card that was like crazy. It was like a $0.50, $1, $2, and now it's all the way up to the price point that is. So I think selling at this point is really good. Really quick, I wanted to review Dragons of Legend. I think there's a lot of potential for all of these sets. We look at these Legendary Duelist sets, and they're not really popular for people really like buying them sealed, and then kind of like maybe for collectors that hold them sealed and they get old and then they kind of like dry the market out, because I don't really know anyone that just goes very heavily on the Legendary Duelists sets. But these Dragons of Legend set, there's a couple different ones, and if I'm not mistaken, we have a new one coming out here pretty soon, and they hold some pretty good value. Obviously, like the top dog is gonna be Toon Kingdom, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Those are the highest ones. And then everything else is really not too crazily expensive. It kind of supposed to trickle down, but there's a lot of things in here. I'm going to kind of switch gears here, because I think maybe there's some good investments or maybe pickups. I'm going to kind of switch from selling to buying here really quick, if you guys don't mind, because there is a lot of this stuff is solo print. And of course, we're getting some of the stuff is like Toon, and we're getting that new Toon set. And I've always been a big fan of Toon, not so much for playability, but the artwork and kind of the whole history behind the anime and all that. And Maximus Pegasus and all that is pretty great. Guarded Treasure. This is a secret rare. This is a really great card. I like this a lot. I've featured it multiple times before. I think this is a very situational, but in the right deck can be really pretty great. Really great artwork too. Shadow Toon. This has amazing artwork. I love the artwork in this. And again, maybe you'll see play with the new Toon support that is dawning on our horizon. I'm not sure. But just the sheer fact that it's a big burner card, and it's a solo print, super rare. So it's a hollow foil, it's a solo print, and it has just amazing artwork. I love like the spooky ghost kind of theme here. But I don't want to dip too far in this. Again, I talk about these once in a while too. Fire and Ice Hand. I'm pretty sure these are the original print secrets, which look fantastic. There's also Gold Secret, which surprisingly enough actually looks pretty good. But of course, the original secrets are going to be a lot more popular on the big player base. So I would check this set out. Again, I'm not going to go through all the pages, but I just think there's a lot of kind of under noticed value in these Dragons of Legend sets. So I just wanted to showcase that really quick. One thing I did want to break down fairly in detail, I guess, is Crossroads of Chaos. So this obviously is right up there with Stardust Overdrive. Is that the set that Stardust came out of, the original OG Synchro? I can't remember. I think it's Stardust Overdrive. Or not Overdrive. It's the Dual Genesis. I'm so sorry. I'm losing my mind. It's a little late here. The Duelist Genesis was the set that dawned. I think the first synchros ever, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, Stardust started it all. And Black Rose is up there too. Now the Ghosts and Ultimates, they're just like ungodly expensive, especially for the first edition prints. Even the Unlimiteds are going up and holding pretty good value, but the first editions are like ungodly expensive. Everyone kind of reviews these very heavily. They're very popular, very beautiful. Some of the most infamous synchro cards of all time. What I did want to review, which I was surprised about though, is Plague Spreader Zombie. So funny story. Plague Spreader Zombie was actually one of the first tuners I ever got, and this card's pretty special to me because it was a transition card for me, and it kind of got me when I came back into the game and 2011 after high school, and I just the aftershock of all these new cards with XYZ's dawning on the horizon and Synchros in full effect and all this craziness. It was a really hard transition for me to kind of wrap my mind around how much the game had changed. But Unlimiteds alone are starting off at 20, and what's even more impressive is if we get into the first editions, they're 106 bones. First edition, lightly played Plague Spider Zombie is $106. So I thought that was incredible. That's a definite sell. This card has amazing artwork. It's got an amazing effect. It's got a lot of great history. Of course, it's an old school Ultimate Rare from a very infamous set, Crossroads of Chaos. But for $106, that's a lot of money. I think that's a fantastic sell. Does it have potential to go up? It definitely does. This is a really huge popular set, and you can see Stardust Dragon, both prints, the Ultimates and the Ghost Rares have just exponentially increased in value like crazy over the years. One thing I was thinking about, so everyone knows the Ultimates and the Ghost Rares, but no one ever talks about the original print Ultras. Now, Black Rose Dragon has been reprinted to hell. There's multiple ultra rare prints. But I just out of curiosity, I mean, it's definitely not going to hold anywhere near value as the Ultimate and the Ghost, but I still think if you can get a cheap first edition, that's key, get first edition and ultra rare, I think it's still going to hold pretty good value, especially as time goes on. Neos Wiseman is expensive too. Like, this card's not even good. Now, I mean, it's a hero card, I guess, or a Neos. Yeah, it's a hero card. I'm into hero Neos. So it's a hero card, I guess. Collectability. I mean, I think this card is just terrible. Cool artwork. Pretty sure this is the highest rarity as a secret rare. Definitely the original print. Unlimiteds are like $30, $31, $30, which is insane. I have a couple of these. I'm gonna list these for sure because this card was like $2, $3, if that, for like ever. I really don't know what's going on here. Maybe just because it's getting chewed up on the market. There's really not a whole lot, but I don't even. Yeah, you guys can see if you can go see if you can find a first edition. Those probably going for a great value. But the Unlimiteds alone are 31. So this is a definite sell, in my personal opinion. All right. So next is going to be. And I apologize, I didn't review too heavily of this. I just wanted to. I really respect this set a lot. There's some really awesome cards. Titanial. So Titanial is really awesome too. This has gone up a lot too. More specifically for the first edition Ultimates. This card's great. I love the artwork, and it's a level 8 plant, 28 beater, great stats, and it's just an old school Ultimate Rare, and it's got a lot of good history. It was well used back in the day, and it's just an old school Ultimate Rare. It's really great. Unlimiteds are really not anything. There's about six plus. But what's interesting is when you get to the first editions, there's only 3 pages as well. This card is definitely getting dried out. There's not even first edition on the first 2 pages, and the first edition we get goes all the way up to 36 bones. And then bottoms out at about 51, but that's stupid. Like, this isn't even a first edition. It's the most expensive one. Like, how did this guy's messing up. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to go and actually pick these up. Actually, not too long ago, I picked up Ultimate Rare Mark of the Roses. I think I picked them up. I don't remember how much I picked them up for. I think it was like around 7 plus or something for first edition lightly playeds Ultimate Rares, and that's another card that's just great. Again, I never really realized it before, but this is a pretty plant-eccentric set. Sounds kind of silly. Again, I wasn't really around when this set first came out. I wasn't in the game. I was still in high school, so I didn't really know about all the shenanigans, but this is just a great set. This has great history, and it's just an amazing collector. It has an amazing collector value. I apologize. My internet is running so slow right now. Another thing, a couple of other cards I was going to talk about, and I apologize, I'm going to have to turbo through here. First edition secret rare versions of Overdrive Teleporter. Pretty sure this is still a solo print. It's got a really killer effect, and it's a psychic, so that's really cool. I'm really into psychic stuff. Gladiator Beast Retiari, so this is a secret rare as well. First editions are probably going for pretty great. This has fantastic artwork, and I'm just a big fan of Glad Beast. I really like Glad Beast, and this is like the original print of this card, so this is really cool. Of course, Mark of the Rose. These are going for pretty relatively cheap for what it is. At least they were, at least a couple days ago. First edition prints, ultimate rare, all day long. There's also a DT version. If you don't want to drop too much money on the ultimates, DT versions are definitely a healthy alternative. But I would definitely try to go for the ultimate rare, because this is like basically like a borderline snatch and steal for your plant builds. Original prints of the OG super rare Secret Village of the Spellcasters is really great. And just to put my mind at ease, really quick. Again, I wanted to review this set in depth and really kind of go in, but unfortunately, I don't know what the deal is, but my internet is just running extremely slow right now, and I don't want to have you guys sit here and drag through all these loading pages and everything, so I'm going to kind of cut it a little short here. It's kind of interesting. They used the tin promo secret rare here for the ultra picture. It's kind of strange, but like I was saying, so the ultimate rares and the ghost rares are, you know, getting to pretty unattainable price points here, and I'm curious what the first editions ultras are going for. Unlimiteds alone are a couple dollars. First edition we get here, so like right off the bat. Okay, this is, I don't understand. This is a German event calendar edition. This year I don't understand. Not well versed in how European breaks down their prints, but there is it's about 16. So again, only 2 pages. So wow, that did not take long at all for people to go after the original ultras after that, and then they jumped to about 20, and then they just kind of trickle up after that. So yeah, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right there. The ultra original print first editions are holding great value as well. All right, so this is going to be a little. I'm going to switch gears again here. I'm going to go back to the purchase market, the investing part. Everyone knows that Starter Deck Kaiba and Starter Deck Yugi are the most infamous, some of the most infamous sealed products first edition ever. They're just going for an insane amount of money. They were some, if not, I believe, the first cards we ever got released in like Europe and North America and all that. And you know, that was 18 years ago, back in roughly around 2002 or so. And if you go through and you look at the starter decks, there's been 3 waves of Yugi and Kaiba starter decks. There's been the original OG starter decks with Ultra, Blue Eyes, and Dark Magician, which for first editions are just amazing collector values and just holding insane value. Then there was Evolution. Then there was Starter Deck Evolution, which was this right here. There was one for Kaiba and one for Yugi, and that was released. Now, Blue Eyes is not. It's not the best artwork. I think they definitely could have chose a better artwork. But back then, there really wasn't that many prints of Blue Eyes, so they chose what they chose. But what is to have this super rare version of what I want to call Generation 2 starter deck, the OG starter decks being Gen 1, the Evolutions being Generation 2, and then a few years after that, the reloaded starter decks, which came with Ultimate Rare Blue Eyes and Ultimate Rare Dark Magician, which is going to be part of the next video I'm going to review. I always kind of go back and forth from it, but that is just a great investment on itself. But what is to say that the original Ultras from the starter decks from Gen 1, now with this Gen 2 Evolution, what is to say that this super rare version, first edition specifically, is going to eventually get to those pretty nice value points over time? It's already incredibly old. You can see here, there got 1 Ultra, 2 Supers. This is crap. Don't worry about this. So really quick here, let's take a look, because these are still super cheap, and I don't think people are really looking at these. Someone is looking at this. because you can see here it's pretty chewed up on the market. There's really not a whole lot available. Just to kind of put it in perspective, I'm going to start out with a 3-stack because this card's relatively cheap. So you're going to want a stack to get it. There's 5+ pages, so like, yeah, okay, there's plenty in the market. This isn't really a big deal. It's nowhere near the original amazing artwork in the Ultra of the first one, of course. But it's still very old, and I still think, and it's still, again, a really old starter deck. Not a structure deck, a starter deck. Unlimiteds are nothing. Only 2 pages. When I change over to 3 stacks and more, there's only 2 pages left. Not really a big deal. Not even a single stack. There's not even a single stack of first editions left for the Gen 2 Super Blue Eyes. Okay, for the first editions, because that's what it's all about. Now I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to try to find solos for the first edition. And again, there's a plethora of pages, 5+ pages, and there's really not that many. There's no first editions on the first 3 pages or on the first 4 pages. So this is going away quickly. As you can see, it's getting chewed up on the market over time, over and over. It starts out at about 4 or 5. It's about 5. The first one up here is about 5. Then we go to our last page. There's one here for about 5+ again. And then there's one here for 5. And then there's 2 here for, 7, 35. So there is like, what, maybe like 10, 7 on the market for first editions right now for all of TCG Player. So it's going away, and it's going away quick. Now, granted, this is never going to take over the glory and the infinity or whatever of the original OG Starter Deck Kaiba Ultra Rare with the better, original artwork and all that. But I think that this is going to be a huge collector's card, and it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week. But Starter Deck Kaiba Evolution is insanely old. Kind of put it into perspective here. Did a quick search here on eBay just to find sealed. Now, granted, these are sealed, so they're going to be ridiculously more valuable. But this is, well, actually, I need to switch this to lowest first. I had it on lowest first. I don't know why it switched. But these are extremely old, and as time goes on, this is just going to keep on going up and up and up, and I don't know why it is showing. Okay, because it's showing, I thought I put sealed on here. Sorry, I guess I redid my search engine. Anyway, but these, just like the original OG Starter Deck Kaiba, are like very expensive. They're like $100+, almost $200 for these. And these are almost as old, not quite, but they're getting there. They're almost as old as, check it out right here. Here's a I don't know if this is, I guess maybe Spanish or anything. Anyway, so yeah, if you have sealed, like you have money, of course, great. This would have been a fantastic investment. I wish I would have known about this. I don't remember the specific year, but very, very old. Now, if we go back to, and again, I'm only looking at the holo foils because the holo foils in first edition exclusively are the ones that are going to hold the great value. I don't know what is going on with my internet. It's just being so terrible right now. Anyway, and then next is going to be Kaiser Seahorse. So this is the highest rarity of Kaiser Seahorse. Now, I know it sounds kind of crazy because this card's like super cheap and it's not nowhere on the scale of Blue Eyes or anything like that. But granted, I don't know what is going on with my internet. This is terrible. Okay, well, in the meanwhile, I'm going to get back to that while that is being slow and loading. Okay, so, of course, you got to go parallel. You have the Yugi 1, the Yugi Evolution. The Gen 2, I want to call it. And there's Black Luster Soldier. And Super Rare Dark Magician. And Super Rare Luster Ritual. These are all, like, super, they're still pretty attainable. And Okay, so obviously, let's go with the obvious. So Blackluster Soldier. Now, technically, this is the highest rarity that we have here. You guys can go check out the versions yourself on your own. I already have. There's a dual terminal, I think, common, which is pretty nice, which some people would say that that's, you know, a good rarity too, which it is. But this is the only ultra rare version that we have. And this first edition being at like this very, very ancient nostalgic set, what is to say that this isn't going to hold incredible value in the future? It already is starting to disappear too. We can see here, 5 pages left. There's no first editions on the first page. First edition we get here is a little bit over 2 bones. It's a 1 of. Right here, it's about 3 roughly. And then, you know, it goes to about like 2, about 3. Here's a 2 of. So you can kind of see there's little like pockets of this card available. Not really any big stacks as you can see, but it's very cheap. It's like, you know, a couple dollars here and there. And I really think that this is, as it continues to grow in age and gets harder to get. And again, this is all about the first edition. It's always the first edition. When you're going for collector stuff, everyone knows you go for first edition. I really wish this would load because I want to show you Kaiser Seahorse. Again, Kaiser Seahorse, it has really great artwork, and the ultra rare from this starter deck is the highest rarity. And here it is right here. And it's got a pretty cool effect. I mean, yeah, back it was solely used to summon Blue Eyes because back in the day, like that was what we had. But you could bust out crazy stuff like Christia. Why is it showing Monster Reborn? What did I click on? Is this what is going on here? This is insane. Anyway, you could bust out stuff like Christia. Or, you know, what other beast monster you want to bust out that requires 2 tributes that just have these monsterly effects. And that's a pretty solid play. Now, granted, it's kind of old. It's definitely kind of an old school play style. It doesn't look like it's going to work for me. Anyway, so from Evolution Kaiba, there's the Ultra Kaiser Seahorse and the Super Rare Blue Eyes. First edition specifically. Take a look at them. See if you guys check out other sites. Even on eBay, I tried to do a quick search on eBay for the Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician. And there's really just not a lot available. The ones that are here, the majority of them are like moderately played, heavily played, damaged. There's just really not a lot of good condition ones here on eBay. Now, I don't know what other resources you guys use besides eBay and TCG Player. Those are kind of my primary. But there are a lot of 1-stacks, and, you know, they're just really not that good of a condition. So maybe you guys can do a more detailed search about that. I'm not really sure. Same thing with Dark Magician from the Starter Deck Evolution. They're just really not in good condition, and there's not really high quantities. And I think this looks phenomenal. This artwork is a lot cooler than the artwork that they picked for prize, unfortunately. But again, like, I really think that these are going to be the next thing. Now that the collector's market has just like annihilated Gen 1 starter decks of Kaiba and Yugi, I think that Evolution is going to be next. And now is the time, probably already years ago was probably already the time. You probably could have got these even more significantly cheaper than they already are. But I just think that this is a big deal, that this is something that you can invest in and see huge growth, probably even within the near future, with the numbers very, very quickly dissipating here as I was trying to show you guys. So it's completely up to you. Again, Starter Deck, Evolution, Yugi, and Kaiba, Blackluster Soldier, Kaiser Seahorse, Super Rare Dark Magician, and Super Rare Blue Eyes, as well as Blackluster Ritual, because, I mean, if it's going to be a collector's, you might as well have a set. Now, this is definitely never going to be as valuable as the actual Blackluster Soldier itself, but for collectible stuff, you might as well just, you know, buy it in bulk as a pair so you have the full set. So that's kind of the special thing that I wanted to show you tonight. Again, I really believe in this. I think these are going to quickly start to disappear from the market, and their values are just going to skyrocket. I can just feel it in my bones. It's going to happen. I wanted to share this with you guys because I think that this is just a great opportunity. And it's now is the time. So thank you so much for watching these videos. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Please stay safe out there. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourselves. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.